Mm. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living's pre-service meditation. Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore pre-service meditation. I am honored and blessed to be the facilitator of this morning's meditation. I'm Eugene Holden, one of the practitioners of distinction here at this beautiful Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. So, if you would join me. If you so choose, go ahead and soften your gaze or close your eyes and become one with your breath. Be connected with your breath, making sure to inhale fully and exhaling completely. We're going to take a couple more of those cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. And now, breathing exclusively through the nose. Keeping your awareness on your breath. Making sure that the breath is slow, soft, smooth, silent, and sacred. And we breathe. Be aware of how the breath enters the nostrils, how it fills up the torso. And then be aware of how the breath exits the body, exits the nostrils, empties the torso. Keeping the breath nice and smooth, slow and sweet, silent and sacred. So just for a moment, pay attention to your breath. And if the mind falls off or wants to do something else, think about anything else, it's okay. Just gently bring it back to the breath. And with each exhale, allow the body to relax even more. Let it go. Now, bring your awareness to the top of your head, the crown point of your head. And imagine that the top of your head is the top of a mountain. And the relaxation that starts there is like the river starting from the top of the mountain, a stream. And be aware of how the stream flows down the mountain, how this relaxation flows down the head, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyes, relaxing the neck and the throat. Let it go. Feel the relaxation flowing across the shoulders, allowing the shoulders to go loose and limp. Loose and limp. Feel the relaxation as it flows down the arms, where the upper arms are now relaxed. The relaxation flows through the elbows to the forearms, through the wrists, down the backs of the hands, through the fingers, all the way to the tips of the fingers. Now feel the palms of the hands relax. And we breathe. Now bring your awareness once again to the shoulders. And on this next exhale, allow the shoulders to relax even further. Now feel how the relaxation flows down the back, going down each vertebrae. And each vertebrae just loosens up just a little bit. So where the upper back is relaxed, the middle back is relaxed, and now the lower back is relaxed. And we breathe. And once again, bringing your awareness back to the shoulders, making sure they're nice and relaxed and loose. Feel how the relaxation now flows down the front of the body where the chest is relaxed. The solar plexus is relaxed. The abdomen is relaxed. And feel how the relaxation flows through the hips, through the groin, down the thighs, through the knees, down the shins and the calf muscles, through the ankles, down the insteps of the feet, all the way to the tips of the toes. And now relax the soles of the feet. And we breathe. Remembering to inhale fully and to exhale completely. And now, with this beautiful gift of imagination, imagine you're on a path. Be aware of your surroundings. Is it day? Is it night? Is the sun shining? Is it rainy? Remember, it's your imagination. You get to make it up. So whatever comes, allow it to be. And as we walk down this path, we are surrounded by a sense of peace, a sense of oneness, that we are one with everything that surrounds us. The gentle breeze, the songs of the birds, the buzzing of the insects, the smell of the flowers. We are one with all of these things. And as we make our way down our path, we come to a clearing. And in that clearing, there is a seat, especially and specifically for you. You can feel how that seat invites you to sit down, stay a while. And so we do. And we breathe. And in this seat, there is only one question that we ask. Then once this question is asked, we just sit and we listen for the answer. We feel the answer. We know the answer. And the question is, what breathes this breath? What is breathing me? Peace. Be still. What breathes this breath, and why? And we allow ourselves to open even wider. What breathes my breath? And why? For what purpose? And so now it's time to return as we stand up from our seats. We give thanks for the opportunity to ask the questions, then also to hear the answer, to feel the answer, to know the answer to the question. Now we allow ourselves to head back down the path as we bring our awareness back to our rooms, feeling the vibration in the rooms that we're sitting in, becoming aware once again of the body temple, feeling the feet upon the floor, our seats upon the seats. And then when you're ready, and only when you are ready, take a nice deep breath and open your eyes. And feel the sense of gratitude. Grateful for this breath. Grateful for this thing called life. So it is with gratitude that we bring our pre-service meditation to a close, knowing that it doesn't come to an end. We're just closing the activity, but we continue to meditatively go through this day, being aware of the breath. Peace and abundant blessings. I'll see you soon.
Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels of green and gold, heal my heart, heal my soul. Blessed angels of violet and blue, open my eyes to the visions of truth. Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels of green and gold, heal my heart, heal my soul. Blessed angels of violet and blue, open my eyes to the visions of truth. Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels, come be with me. Heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels of green and gold, heal my heart, heal my soul. Blessed angels of violet and blue, open my eyes to the visions of truth. visions of truth, visions of truth, visions of truth, visions of truth. Blessed angels, come be with me, heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels, come be with me, heal my spirit, mind and body. Blessed angels of green and gold, heal my heart, heal my soul. Blessed angels of violet and blue, open my eyes to the visions of truth.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's virtual service. I am Harry Leffman, your host. Our speaker is Reverend Kathleen Sibley. Our musician today is Safi. Serving as today's practitioner who led the pre-service meditation is Eugene Holden. Thank you for your service. Every Sunday at CSLGB is an Invite a Friend or Family Member Sunday. Spread the love and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us. In a moment, Eugene Holder will offer to us our opening prayer. Eugene is a licensed spiritual counselor and practitioner of distinction, studying New Thought and science of mind and spirit for over 30 years. Eugene served as department manager for Centers for Spiritual Living, an international nonprofit, for 10 years, running the world's Ministry of Prayer. After 15 years, Eugene continues to be a well-loved contributor to the Science of Mind magazine, inspiring lives around the world. Eugene is an experienced process training facilitator. He has led group sessions at Agape International Spiritual Center, Unity of Colorado, Centers for Spiritual Living, and various spiritual centers nationally and internationally, including Denver, Florida, California, Philadelphia, Oakland, Canada, Mexico, and Jamaica. For 2 years, Eugene served as a facilitator and trainer for the Center for Spiritual Living's Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Eugene currently runs a successful counseling and coaching practice available in person and online. Eugene allows vision to guide him. It is prayer that fuels him. Eugene is deeply committed to his purpose, joyfully assisting others in remembering who and what they truly are, divine beings of light. Eugene believes that together we can reveal the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. What is heaven? Heaven is everlasting, expanding good. It's my pleasure now to listen with you to Eugene.
Thank you so much, Harry. Good morning once again, everybody. Oh, gosh. What a beautiful, beautiful day. Happy New Year to everyone. So join me in this thing called prayer. So this is what I know. I know that there is one power, one presence, one life. And though it may be called by different names, I choose to call it God, knowing that it is the infinite intelligence that governs the universe. Yes, I know it's called God. Sometimes it's known as Yahweh. Sometimes it's known as Vodun. Sometimes it's known as Olodumare. But whatever it is called, we call it forth into this conscious awareness, recognizing that it is the very center of all of life. It is the essence from which everything, all things are created. So no matter what we call it forth into our conscious awareness, recognizing that is the one power, the one presence, the one life that is at the very center of all that there is. And having no circumference, there isn't anything that exists outside of the presence of the infinite. But wait, there's more. Right where we are, it is expressing itself in, through, and as our lives. You see, there is no place we can go where love is not, where God is not, where life is not, where joy is not, because we are created in that spiritual image and from that spiritual likeness and in the spiritual nature of the divine itself, which means, my brothers and sisters, that we are fully imbued with the same creative intelligence and power that has created the heavens and the earth and all in between. You see, this is who and what we truly are. We are the divine beings of light. We are the brilliant illuminations of pure spirit. And so it is from this awareness of our oneness in God, it is from this united state of consciousness that I speak this word for this time together. You see, I name, I claim, I declare, and I decree, and I accept that this time together is magnificent. It is perfection in action. Oh, so I bless all of the many hands that have anything to do with bringing this service to fruition. I bless Dana, who is backstage making it all work. I bless Harry for being the host that is just absolutely on his job. And now I speak this word. I speak this word for the Reverend Kathleen Sibley, who is here to open up and to be the channel and the vehicle and the voice for the infinite. So knowing that this word is already made flesh, knowing that this prayer is already answered, I give great thanks. It's from this place of gratitude. It's from this place of grateful thanksgiving that I now release this word into the awesome and dynamic activity of love and law. See, this is what I know. As this word is released into the law has no other choice. It cannot help itself. It must take these words and mold them and shape them and blend them and create them and then return them unto us, not void, not empty, but absolutely abundantly and completely fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we simply and lovingly allow it to be. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Amen.
Honoring the world's religions. One tree, many branches. One mountain, many paths. One world, many religions and spiritual traditions. With the lighting of these candles on the first Sunday of each month, we honor each person on their select path, and we bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, in each person. Study, learn, and grow with Thursday Night Study Group. Visit CSLBGreaterBaltimore.org to learn how to participate and enroll. For a full list of news and events and ways you can volunteer and serve, go to our website, CSLGreaterBaltimore.org. www.ccsl.com/events. We're also seeking volunteers to serve in a variety of ways. We need people to do grant writing. We need people to inspire and find our next location. We need people to participate in the hospitality team, and in this team, the hosting and production staff. And we need people who will engage in fundraising, coordinate fundraising events. For a full list, see our webpage. There will be a celebration of life for Derek Neal. The celebration will be January 18th this year, March Life, can't read, a tribute center, Old Court, 5616 Old Court Road, Randallstown. The guests, family, 10:30, and the service will be at 11. You are invited to come and celebrate the life of Derek Neal. Here at CSLB, we live as answered prayer because prayer works. We as a community continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent at any time via email, info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Our musician today is Safi Lim. Safi, pronouns she and they, is a vocal coach, a retreat facilitator and ceremony guide, and an international medicine musician. She offers music, meditations, ceremonies, and teachings as medicine to illuminate our connection to our own divine inner knowing. With a performance degree from the Peabody Conservatory of Music, a #1 house music song in South Africa, 6 independently released albums, and individual artists awards in solo performance, 2 of them from the Maryland State Arts Council in 2010 and 2015. Safi sings songs channeled through her with a passion to open and connect hearts around the world. But wait, there's more. For those ready to release their singing voice and their fears, and using her own vocal ladder teaching method, Safi is honored to teach private voice lessons. As a ceremony guide, Safi works in conjunction with therapists and psychologists to help people heal from their traumas and reclaim their joy. You can sign up for monthly newsletters, watch her new music video, Let the Healing Begin, and learn more about Safi's offerings on her website. It is my pleasure to share with you music by Safi Lim.
Thank you so much, Harry. Good morning, everyone. Blessings of this year are flooding in and turning tides. Oceans rise, rivers flow through the sands of time. Come back to your soul. Open hearts will feel the love, helping us realign we'll realize there's room for all when our hearts become our minds. Come back to your soul. Ooh. Now is the time, a time to share, a time to care, to open up our hearts, open up our eyes and blessings of this year are flooding in and turning tides. Oceans rise, rivers flow through the sands of time. Come back to your soul. Ooh. Gentle with yourself, loving and caring and kind. Be gentle with each other. Everything will turn out just fine. Come back to your soul. Blessings of this year are flooding in and turning tides.
Us in a spiritual. Eugene returns to lead us in a spiritual practice.
Once again, good morning. Good morning. So I'm a big proponent of practice, right? Spiritual practice, and the spiritual practice could be anything that takes you and brings you to your inner being, your inner core, your inner essence. Also, your spiritual practice is not only, we can only inhale for so long, right? So when I talk about the going into our inner selves, we can only spend so much time there, right? Because again, we can only inhale for so long. We have to then give, right? We have to exhale, we have to express. And so the spiritual practice that I want to invite you to engage in for this week, because we're beginning a brand new year, brand new month, a brand new life, man, which is the opportunity for us to do every single day. Every day is a brand new slate. And so this week, for the next 7 days, here's the spiritual practice. You're going to love this one. I guarantee it. Is no complaining, right? So, and how does this connect to the meditation that I facilitated this morning? The meditation, if for those of you who weren't here, the meditation was about connecting with and asking the question, what breathes this breath and why? What breathes this breath? Because we're not breathing the breath. There's something that's breathing the breath. What is it that's breathing the breath, and why is it breathing the breath? Breathing the breath. What's its purpose? So when we connect that to the spiritual practice of no complaining, the purpose of this practice, and I usually don't tell people this or tell clients this until we come back and talk about how their week went. But the purpose of this practice is, number one, to bring an awareness to how much we really do complain. It brings an awareness, once you start this practice, you go, God, I complain a lot. So what we want to do is to become aware of our complaining, because when we are complaining, we find that we are judging. Then when we are judging, we are not really being one with our brothers and sisters. When we are judging, we are really also causing a disruption within our own physical body. When you think about when you're complaining, think about the last time you complained. It could have been just this morning. It could have been yesterday. But think about how you felt when you complained, right? There was some tension. There's some angst there. That's not good for the body temple. So for the next 7 days, your spiritual practice is to not to complain. And if you do complain, okay, just become aware of that. Now, that also takes us into another practice, the practice of forgiveness. You see how all of these are connected? For there's only one, right? But everything is so connected. So when I find myself complaining, I'm like, oh man, I didn't mean to complain about that. And what is it within me that caused me to complain? Oh, I judged that person. Okay. Or the situation. Okay, that's what I've done. So now let me forgive not so much that person or the situation. Let me forgive myself for judging that, which means that I was thinking that I was better than. So let me forgive myself for judging that. And then let me take it back to, oh yeah, there's only one life. That life that breathes this breath. And why is it breathing its breath through me? So that it may experience love as us. So the spiritual practice for this week is no complaining. Now, when you find yourself complaining, don't beat yourself up. That doesn't help at all. Just become aware of it. Just become aware of it. Oh man, I caught myself doing that again. Okay, let me let myself off the hook. Find myself complaining. I get to ask myself, "Ooh, what's that about? Why am I complaining about this? Why am I judging that? Now, who am I to judge? Let me forgive myself for judging." So from this one spiritual practice of not complaining, there are a few practices, spiritual practices that are built in: self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others, and then becoming aware of the one power, the one presence, the one life. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to spend the next 7 days with no complaining. Peace and blessings.
It's now my pleasure to listen to with you for the first time Reverend Kathleen Sibley. Today is special. This is our first spiritual lesson from our interim minister. Her biography intrigues me. Reverend Kathleen writes, I grew up both Catholic and military, which lends itself to a certain level of discipline, as well as a sense of being part of the whole globe. My father would come home with stories about other countries and the people he met. It was during peacetime, and somehow those people were very real to me. Through the study of psychology and then spirituality, I found that people are far more alike and connected than I had guessed. Now, I discovered science of mind in San Diego in Pacific Church of Religious Science at the end of the 1990s, and I've considered that my spiritual home ever since. I signed up for foundations within a couple of months. I've been consistently in classes ever since. I already had a master's degree in psychology, and the science of mind added this spiritual aspect, and that feels complete. I earned my second master's degree from Holmes Institute in 2009, became the senior minister in Prescott, Arizona in 2010. I served that pulpit for more than a decade, and finally it became apparent to me that my heart was not in Arizona, and I left in the fall of 2021. It was time to come home to the Northeast and be closer to my family. Although it's been decades since I lived through a real winter, and I'm still several hours away from my siblings, I have come home again. Being able to work remotely with the home office is a huge blessing. I can still coach and support other ministers, which is what I did as a regional support coordinator for 6 years while I was in my pulpit, as well as make use of the administrative skills I learned while working for the County of San Diego, which paid for ministerial school nicely. I had what I like to call a character building childhood. If anyone is a poster child for this spiritual technology can heal anything, it's me. This teaching saved my life when I had given up. This teaching changed my thinking around relationships, which allows me to be near my family and love them for who they are. This teaching healed me around financial issues, guiding me from being inches from homeless to owning my own duplex and providing housing for those who can't afford it on their own. The community that welcomed me in helped me in so many ways, mostly to find the divine being within me that actually was never broken or broke. My ministry is around passing that gift on. I love to build community. I love to have fun. I love to allow the laughter and tears to flow as needed. Wow, that's the resume Reverend Kathleen gave us, and the next voice you hear will be our own interim minister, Reverend Kathleen Sibley.
Hello, beautiful people. It is such a blessing to be here with you. I want to just circle back for a second. Derek Neal, who is a beloved member of this community, happens to be outside of his body now, having graduated. I just want to point out that his memorial service is actually the 28th of January. If you show up on the 18th, you're going to get asked to set up and then wait a long time. So please show up on the 28th of January, and I'm sure that his family and his soul will be delighted to experience you and to be with you there. So let's talk about the science of mind. That was a very long bio, and so I don't really need to tell you anything else about myself. You know as much as many of my therapists. But the science of mind, as my beloved colleague Eugene talked about last week, in January, we usually go back to basics. So we're rooting, we're getting settled and deepening into the basic teaching and the basic practices. And we're going to reboot and remember who we are and remember what it is we really do. Now, normally, in my experience, we have used the first 4 chapters inherent in the introduction to our textbook as a means of explaining who we are and what we do. This time, if I'm reading correctly, what I'm seeing, or we're actually going through what we call the 5 steps of treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is one of the technologies we use in order to come to a better understanding of the world as it truly is, of the power of our lives, the power of ourselves. That's a capital S. You need to get the little s out of the way. Yes, I say it that way on purpose. Get your little s out of the way. The 5 steps of treatment, I want to just let you know, it's a recipe. And we follow the recipe until it becomes so natural we don't realize we're following the recipe. So just really briefly, last week, you heard about what God is. The thing itself is one of the ways we talk about it. And my colleague Eugene talked about how the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. So in the first week of January, for decades now, ministers have tried to find a way to, as I like to say it, describe the sense of the number 9. Anything you can say about God is just a little piece of what the divine presence, God, Allah, goddess, whatever, all of those names, it's just a tiny little piece of the true, infinite, powerful being that is the divine. Our brains physically are not set up to understand the infinite. We talk about being rational. We are rational beings. We're doing science here, right? A rational being needs a ratio, 2 things to compare. So a rational mind is, by definition, an us and them mind, a me and God out there mind. So part of the first step, which we call recognition, is recognating that. We rethink our understanding of God. And how cool is that, that we actually can sit here and say, okay, when I grew up, this is what I learned. And now I'm going to have a new thought. We are a new thought philosophy. I'm going to have a new thought about God, the universe, and everything. If you're a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, you think the meaning of God, the universe, and everything is 42. We as religious scientists say it's 1. Religious science math is the easiest thing in the world. There's only 1. That's the only number we care about. So in the first step, we sit down and choose to experience, to breathe into that infinite being that is perfect love, that is perfect peace, and we try and feel into it. Have you ever been told you're too emotional? You will not hear that here. We ask you, if you are new to this, and even if you've been practicing for 20 or 30 years, to stop and feel into the experience of the divine rather than talk around it. Okay, so that's first step in our prayer treatments. When we do what we call affirmative prayer, there's 5 steps, none of which include bargaining or complaining or begging or crying or pleading. Step 1 is recognition. We think about, what do we truly know about God? Now, there's a challenge there, because most of us grew up with an understanding of the world that was just not complete, because that's how our brains are set up. I actually, as you heard in my bio, grew up Catholic. And so, we went to Catholic school. We had the little Irish nuns back when that was a thing. And we knew we were in trouble if you got sent to Sister Ursula. So Sister Ursula was the quintessential little Irish nun, and she was adorable. But she could also be a little scary. So there were these brothers, Michael and Patrick. And I remember Patrick got sent to the principal, and Michael waited outside to see what was going on. What had they been caught for this time? And Sister Ursula was just at her wit's end. So she just looked at little Patrick and said, do you know where God is? And, anyone who's been to Catholic school knows, don't answer that question. That was rhetorical. Sister Ursula will tell you what you know. So she just, was so frustrated. So she just kept saying, do you know where God is? Do you know where God is? And finally she stands up, all 5 foot whatever of her, and pounds on her desk and said, do you know where God is? And Patrick couldn't take it anymore, races out of the office, grab Michael, off they go. And Michael finally says, I heard her yelling, what's going on? What are we in trouble for? And Patrick says, Michael, I don't know. Seems like God's been kidnapped and they think we did it. Now, the truth is, first of all, that never happened. The other truth is, if step 1 is what is God, step 2 is where is God? And I am here to tell you, just like the song we just listened to, where we reclaim our soul, we remember that God is within us. We are what's called panentheists. So in this moment, we believe that God is all around us and within us. God is within its creation and not absorbed by it. So it's kind of like God is inside time and outside of it. God is within this planet and everyone on it, including you and me, and is something above and beyond and below and around all of it. It is what some people call the quantum field. And so everything exists in potential. What we know about God is as above, so below, as within, so without. So if I believe something to be true about God, if I am claiming that God has been kidnapped, then there is some part of me that feels like some part of me has been taken away. God is a projection. It's what we believe about ourselves in the world is also what we believe to be true about God. And you can go which any way you want about that. If I believe God is absent, then I believe I'm not reliable. If I believe that God is not interested in my well-being, I should probably look at how I'm talking to myself and how I'm feeding myself and so forth. There's only one. Religious science math only has one number. It's not us and God out there somewhere. It is God right here, right now, not gendered, but both genders and everything in between. It is a principle, and yet it's personal to each and every one of us. So it's important to kind of look at what was I raised believing was true about the world, and especially about God. As religious scientists, in our Declaration of Principles, we say we believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one Spirit. Now, let me just stop for a second. You might have noticed I am not male. At least I don't identify that way. Most of Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this philosophy, most of Dr. Ernest Holmes' writings were in the period between 1920 and 1955-ish, maybe 60. So at that time, there was a rule that said all men is what we talk about, and you'll just know that we mean women too. So let me translate that into 21st century language without losing the quote as Dr. Holmes would have said it. We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit, the infinite being, in all people and all beings, and that all beings are incarnations of the one Spirit. So all of us, that person driving 35 on the freeway, that person who allows you in on the freeway, those are both the divine. Those are both the Christ. And so it's important to remember that whatever complaints we make, whatever judgments we have, we are putting what Emma Curtis Hopkins would have said was an accusation of sin. We are accusing a God being of some of that self-imposed nonsense we call sin. And so I just want you to pay attention to that this week. It's the perfect, as Eugene was talking about the spiritual practice, I'm looking at my talk going, Eugene, please don't give my talk yet. I'm not ready. So we have to start having not just a recognating God, but recognating who we are, recognizing and unifying. This step is called unification. Unifying with that idea, that new idea about God and the universe and everything. There's an old story you've probably heard about an old rabbi and an abbot in a monastery who became friends as they were kind of out in the country and not exactly surrounded by many people of spiritual focus. And the monastery was slowly dwindling. There were no new people coming in. There were no new brothers entering the monastery. And the abbot and his friend, the rabbi, sat down and talked about it as they had many times. And finally, the abbot said, what Do you have any insight? I've prayed and prayed. Do you have any insight as to what we should do to keep the monastery going? The rabbi said, my friend, I can't tell you what to do. That is yours to decide. And I don't want to step on your traditions. But what I can tell you is that one of you here is the next Christ. See, the term Christ is a Latinization of an old Hebrew word that we say Messiah. Messiah is not just Jesus the Christ. As Eugene said last week, Christ was not Jesus' last name. A Messiah is one who is anointed to do a specific thing, usually having to do with setting captives free, empowering the chosen of God, having to do with lifting people up. So the rabbi said the next Christ, as you would call him, he's in this monastery now. And things started changing. Things started actually changing around the monastery, and people were starting to treat each other differently. You see, old Father Benedict, or Brother Benedict, sorry, who was so annoying about things having to be a certain way. Perhaps he was the personification of God as order. And so the other brothers started paying attention to how he ordered his world. And rather than judging it, they started celebrating it. And some people said, well, it must be the abbot because he's in charge, but he is so humble. He is so aware that he serves us. He is a servant leader. And so they started emulating that and started serving one another. And because they had a new thought about each other, people just started showing up. And soon there were people picnicking on the grounds of the monastery, which had farmland and orchards. And because those people were there, there was the sound of laughter and there was the sound of joy, and there were more hands to do the work. And people started showing up on Sundays even in order to simply bask, not in the words and what was being said, as much as I love hearing myself talk, but in the energy of Christedness. And so, my friends, what I would ask you to do as you are choosing not to accuse your brothers and sisters in Christ of sin this week, choosing not to complain, look around and see the Christ. Notice how you talk to yourself. Notice how you are speaking of the Christ that is you. Would you even talk to a child that way, much less the Christ, this phenomenal, infinite being that has been incarnated in front of you, whether it's in your mirror or the car in front of you or the person next to you in line somewhere or, sitting across the dinner table. This is the Christ. And in our prayer, first we have a new thought about what is the Christ consciousness, the God being, and then we spend time recognizing that as us. And this is the power of prayer. We're not begging something outside of us to approve. We're allowing that perfection that already is to be made manifest for us through us. So in the early days, because our brain is not meant to live in that and still be able to write checks and pay, well, I guess maybe I'm the only one who still writes checks, but to be able to pay bills and drive a car and everything else while you're in global, cosmic consciousness, we still have to live in our bodies. And so I would ask you to consider, if you're not ready to live in a global consciousness all the time, just have a new idea about God. Think of God, the universe, the infinite being, as a very, very best friend. Does your very, very best friend chew on you if you mess up? Does your very, very best friend laugh with you? Have all these in-jokes? Have, times you get together and just pay attention to each other? That is the friend you're looking for. There's a quotation in The Friend That Is Within You, which is part of a book called Living the Science of Mind. And this is a little long, but I'm going to read it to you. You have a friend within you who is closer than your shadow. This friend anticipates your every desire, knows your every need, governs your every act. This friend is the God within your own soul, the animating presence projecting your personality, which is a unique individualization of the living spirit. You have a bestie that is the infinite power of the universe that wants the absolute best for you and for all the people you love and for your body and the body of your affairs. It wants the absolute best in your checkbook and on your calendar. It is a friend that also has the power, that is the power to add joy and peace and love into any aspect of your life where you feel like a little more could fit. You know, I am reminded of the genie in Aladdin. And there's a song he sings called You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. If you think God will only help you on certain things, if you think God only likes you when you're being good by whatever definition that looks like, please play with Aladdin's genie this week and let that be your idea of God to help you free up your mind. Now, if you remember, the only thing the genie wanted was his freedom. He wanted to be set free of restriction. And that is exactly what the divine wants as you. As you. So let us pray. Knowing that the delightful being that is God is now fully present in, through, and as each and every one of us. The delightful being that is God is right now. All of the things we can say like joy and love and power and peace, and it is something else, something grander. It is CSL Greater Baltimore in its perfect physical building, in the energy of the airwaves and the digital waves that are having this connection be created right here and now. The infinite being is that within us, which is the call of our own soul, the infinite voice that is internal to each and every one of us. That is the divine in each of us. And I celebrate here and now that it is speaking and speaking loudly. It is singing in divine harmony. And each and every one of us is a note that makes up this beautiful concerto, this whole massive band that is the voice of God singing to itself, singing a happy song, being a friend to itself. And as this is our truth, what I also see and know and believe and claim is that in our physical world, there is greater oneness, there is greater understanding of the power of the Christ in each of us. It is beautiful, it is good, and it is now recognized and welcomed into every heart, whether we speak to other people about it or not. Simply our presence is so perfect. Our presence is so centered in the divine that it cannot help but create healing all around us. Create an understanding of the good that is all around us. I know that this is already so, and I am in awe of that good. I am in celebration and in heartfelt gratitude for that good that already is. And because it already is, I'm simply stepping out of the way and allowing that which has been breathing me to get to work, to do the thing, and make it so. And if this rings with you, affirm with me now, and so it is.
And again, our musician, Safi.
I'm starting again with the ABCs. What does it mean to be you and me? How do I want to walk this life? Loosen my burdens, release the why. I am awake, aware, alert, alive. I am awake, aware, alert, alive. I'm starting again to lose my way, forgetting to laugh and seize the day. How will I find my way back home? With faith and trust of the unknown, I am awake, aware, alert, alive. 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 I am free, free, loving the wisdom inside of me. Free, free, open to possibilities. Free, free, honoring life's fragility. Free, free, finding my serenity. I am starting again to start again, letting go to heal and mend. How will I learn to dance this round? With breath and courage and love abound. I am awake, aware, alert, alive. I am awake, aware, alert, alive. I am awake, aware, alert, alive. I am awake, aware, alert, alive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So we believe in the vision and allowing ourselves to be drawn forward by the power of the divine within each and every one of us at CSL Greater Baltimore. And we have a vision of a 24-hour spiritual facility that serves as a community hub that offers people a wide array of services, not just Sunday morning, but all week long. So each person has the opportunity to awaken to their spiritual magnificence in a world that works for all. How beautiful is that? So that is what we are claiming as our good. And the practitioner core here, as well as the community, as a demonstration of what we call the law of circulation, and it's a way of sowing seeds of good and prosperity into the physical community, has raised the bar of prosperity consciousness by pledging $50,000 each by the end of the year. So please join us as we continue to sow seeds that will shift the consciousness in our physical area and in the world, thus creating the world that works for all. And I believe that rather than saying, giving, throwing money in the plate, what we call this now is conscious spiritual investing. You are not just paying an electric bill in a building somewhere. You are practicing the law of circulation, and this is the time in service where we are all invited to participate. So this is one way we support the spiritual center. It supports where we're spiritually fed, while also supporting the business of running the center. The daily workings, creating the opportunity to pay rent or a mortgage as we create that beautiful 24-hour spiritual facility, and just creating a new home for this beautiful community of people. And we remember that as we give, so do we receive. So when we, how we do this is through, there's a whole bunch of different ways. You can do PayPal, you can do Givelify, text messaging, or you could write a check and send it through the mail. All of the instructions are on this slide. You can also go to CSLGreaterBaltimore.org/giving. And the instructions are there for you. If you get stuck, please contact Sue Monahan. And know that if there is a specific area that you want to give to, all you need to do is put it in the memo line or the notes of whatever format you're using. Again, if you get stuck, please talk to Sue Monahan. If you don't choose to specify or what we call designate your money for a specific program, then please know that your spiritual leadership, your board of trustees, are excellent stewards who continue to determine where and how to use our financial contributions to serve the greater community, CSLGB, and beyond. So again, you can always go to CSLGreaterBaltimore.org/give, and there will be a wonderful set of explanations there. So in this moment, what I'm going to ask you to do is, whatever your gift may be, whether it's a check or the credit card that you will use to go to PayPal and make your gift, I'm going to ask you to imagine it being held over your heart right now, and put your hand there so that you can physically enact this truth. And if you're comfortable doing so, I'm going to ask you to declare with me, with the entire community, our financial wealth and abundance. And so we say together, I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principles that say, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so at this time, I'm just going to do a little benediction that prays us out and back into the big old world. Unless, Harry, that is something you do.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So in this moment, what I give thanks for is that this time together does not end, because it exists in time now, and we can return to this energy anytime we want. I know that CSL Greater Baltimore, excuse me, is breathing into a perfect experience, a whole experience, a wonderful experience of love and power. That we are a 24-hour spiritual community with a facility that's open 24 hours and creating good and more good within the world. I bless and celebrate this time together. I bless and celebrate everyone who has participated, whether they're doing it in this very moment or watching this later on as a video. And I bless and celebrate all of it and so much more. And so it is.
And if you'd like to join us today for visioning after the service, come to the Zoom room. We'll chat for a few minutes in the Zoom and then go on to the visioning. If you are wanting prayer, simply type in prayer when you get to the Zoom room and your prayers will be answered. So at this point, we're about done. And I wish you all a very blessed 2023. We will see you on Zoom shortly. Thank you for attending.